up, guys?
So we just finished up a phenomenal trip in Rome, Italy, which I think has been one of our favorite cities so far. It was absolutely spectacular. We started day one off at the Vatican in Vatican City, which is just so unbelievable.
So at the end of the kind of the Vatican Museum gallery part that we started off in, there was the Sistine Chapel, which is just so cool. We love that. Going back to that, not everywhere we can take pictures. This is one of the other places where we couldn't take pictures. Which was unfortunate because, man, they wanted to take a lot of pictures of the Sistine Chapel.
For sure.
I was able to snag a few, but I don't think they turned out so well because I kind of was just sticking my camera out of the bag. Yeah, I kind of just pointed up at the ceiling and clicking very quickly.
But it's just like, there's so much happening in each of those like 30 scenes as well that you could literally I feel like you could easily spend a whole day in the Sistine Chapel just looking and really like taking in the different scenes. So
from there we went to St. Peter's Basilica, which, yeah, I believe they said it was the largest church, at least in Italy, if not in the world. I can't remember exactly, but it is massive. This is
huge.
Yeah, absolutely huge, stunning, just an absolutely wonderful piece of architecture. I'm sure you want to tell them about your favorite part.
Yeah. So we're like walking around. There's all these there's some different structures. There's different like pictures, and then at these various places there are these altars. I'm gonna talk about this first. There are these altars, and so we're going up, being very respectful, just kind of looking, and I'm staring at this one, and it's like it's like a clear coffin. And we're looking, and it's talking about this pope or saint. I don't remember which.
It was a pope.
Was it a pope? Okay, so a former pope that was in this coffin, and his face is covered with like this like metal gold mask. But then like laying on his stomach is a hand, and it didn't look like a fake hand. It was genuinely the Pope's mummified hand.
Yeah, apparently the popes get mummified. We didn't know that.
Apparently
they put some of them out on display. Definitely didn't know that.
Was not prepared for that, I must say.
We're looking at it, we're like, wait, is that looks like a real hand. We're like, not, more like a mummy's hand, because, it was all like dried and shriveled up, but we're just like, Is that a real dead body right there? Like, right. They just like mummified the Pope.
And then to further that, we're like walking around, and there's like this giant tower in the middle, and I see like this line of people that are like circling the tower, and I'm like, ooh, that looks fun. So I walk over and just kind of see what's going on, and there's this tiny little plaque that says like Tomb of Popes, and I was like, oh, we're going down there. Like, you don't walk past the Tomb of Popes without walking into it. And you can go underneath of St. Peter's Basilica, and it is just a giant room of coffins. Really nice. There's like
it's like big stone coffins. It was, yeah, they're beautiful. They're quite large and everything. But yeah, it was really cool. We didn't know any of that was there.
No. And they had a lot of history too, which I like. So like each of the different sections had like a plaque that told you like who was there, when they were reigning as Pope, and then like some of the stuff that they did. So I thought it was really, really like interesting to kind of see the history that was underneath the basilica.
And then we headed out to the square after we were done inside. That was beautiful as well. I mean, it's just all of Rome is just like that. You just walk around and you're like, wow, this architecture is fantastic. Absolutely. Can't get enough of it. But yeah, That was a great time at the Vatican. There was a whole lot to see there. Really enjoyed our first day in Rome, that's for sure.
For sure. And then the next day was Sean's birthday.
It was.
Which is super, like, exciting in and of itself. But it was also the longest day of my life.
But that's okay, because it was so cool spending my birthday in Rome. And while, the first day we spent all of our time at the Vatican, the second day we pretty much saw everything else in Rome.
Everything.
So first thing we start off is, I know that, it's the middle of July. Lines are known to be really long at the Colosseum. I bought my tickets in advance, so I was like, well, all we have to do is just get right there, grab our tickets, and we can head right in. So we got there at 9 a.m. thinking, all right, we'll be like right in before the big crowds. Find out apparently I made reservations with my ticket. So we get there at 9. Our reservation is for 2 p.m. So we're like, okay.
Cool.
I guess we're not doing this quite yet. So at that point, we found out that our tickets to Colosseum also included the Roman Forum and the Pantheon Hill. And that was really cool. We were glad that we went there. It's one of our favorite things that we went to. We didn't even intentionally come here. We were going to see the Colosseum, and it just turned out that tickets were included. And man, I'm glad we came here, because when you look around, a lot of the stuff at Rome, it's very surrounded by new streets and everything like that, and it's a remnant of what it was before. But here, everything's preserved in just like a few blocks of what was like a downtown area of Rome, and it's so cool to see all of these different things put together, and just how well preserved it really is. It's a fantastic place to be and so peaceful.
It's so cool to almost like step back into history, where you're just completely removed from the city part of Rome, and it's just like you can see what the houses would have looked like, and you can see how they would have gone from place to place, and it just almost feels like a look back into time, which I think is just so cool.
So from there, we stopped for lunch, and then we headed back over to the Colosseums to go inside. First off, the outside is fantastic. It's just really cool. It's so massive. It's like, if you've been to a sports stadium, it's just as big as like a modern sports stadium. It's just mind-blowing. And then you go inside and you realize, like, wow, modern sports stadiums are really completely designed after the Colosseum. It's just so fantastic and massive in there. It looks just the way, obviously it's fallen apart, but, the pieces that are there, you can clearly see the design is similar to what we still have nowadays, thousands of years later. Yep. But it was just gorgeous. I mean, you can't get much bigger than the Colosseum. went to the altar of the Fatherland, we went to the Trevi Fountain, and we went to the Pantheon. The altar of Fatherland was huge. I mean, I've seen pictures of it. Sam hadn't seen anything about it. Hadn't seen what it looked like at all. But I knew what it looked like. But what I didn't realize is how large it was. I'd have to say that Trevi Fountain was really cool. It was once again bigger than we expected it to be. It was
for sure.
Yeah, but it was super crowded there. Where some of the things like the altar of Fatherland was a little more spaced out, and there you could easily walk around there. Trevi Fountain, you pretty much had to push your way to the front to be able to get any good pictures of it, around it and stuff. But once we did get up there eventually, and once we got to the front, it was pretty cool up there. And then from there, we headed over to the Pantheon, which, once again, very large, beautiful piece of architecture.
Yeah, it was really interesting that it had a hole through the center of the roof. So it was like an open roof, the birds could fly in, which I thought was really odd, because generally the goal of a church is to not have the animals in the building, but this seemed to very much so welcome them. Nobody seemed shocked or thrown back that there were these birds perched along the top.
But it was a beautiful church. Really enjoyed that as well.
Ended a very long but very eventful day too.
Yeah, I think it was we got to the Colosseum by 9 a.m. Actually, it might have been before 9 a.m. And then I think we made it back to our hotel probably around 7 or so, maybe later. All of that time walking very far.
Yes.
So we got around the city, that's for sure, but we had a great time, and it was a pretty cool way to spend my birthday, that's for sure.
Absolutely great. So then day 3 we took a little bit slower.
First off, we slept in.
It was
nice sleeping in after a long day like that.
So once we finally got ourselves up and got ourselves together, we went to a park.
It was I believe it's pronounced Borghese. It's called the Villa Borghese has surrounded by a park. So it's a very large mansion. It has a gallery inside, but we didn't end up going in, just time and everything. But we did, we walked around the park, which was just beautiful. It was cool because there were birds that were just so loud through the trees.
So loud.
They almost sounded like crickets, where there was this whole background noise, but it was very loud of all of them behind us. So it was really cool walking through the park, relaxing and taking it slow. We had a great time there, and at that point we were close to the train station, which we were taking to Florence for our last city in Italy. Yeah, so we had a great time in Rome. I have to say that Rome was our favorite city.
Oh, by far.
Yeah, we really enjoyed it. There was just so much there. And if you're going to Italy, Rome is an absolute must-see.
Oh my
you
gosh.
can't not
100%.
go. Yeah, for sure.
And you're going to need more than one day.
Yes, you
or
need
at least one day and a sleeping day.
You need a couple days, yeah. More days than we did if you want to go slower. Tune in next week to hear about Florence. But don't forget to like this video and subscribe down below. Hit the bell for notifications. And we will see you guys next week.